So I'm going to be primarily looking at Adobe Firefly, which is the one that we've brought up here a few times. Uh, and just to touch on like the copyright thing we've been talking about, Adobe, uh, this is trained on all of the stock images that Adobe owns as well as public domain. Uh, so that is their solution to getting around at least that initial copyright question of how these things build new images. Um, but also, as Deep said mentioned, not everybody has access to Adobe products by default, but you can request them. So how you do that is easiest way, go to Hunter College and help desk. And you want to go through their portal and log in as you would. And then you want to go up to catalog, Hunter College requests. You fill all of this out. The thing you do want to pay attention to is the category. It is, I think it's this software one. No, it is not. It is the other software one, desktop software, standard or CUNY license. And then it is Adobe Creative Cloud. Fill this out and then you'll get confirmation of getting the Adobe account. Once you have it, you will come to a page like this. You go to firefly.adobe.com, and like any other any other AI, there is the text box there for you to do. Let's use this blank one, default one, and it gives us that. So Deep showed us a little bit of this earlier. And I really want you to pay attention to this side thing. This is basically a tool to make prompt engineering a bit easier for the average person. These AIs work by trying to determine what you mean just by relation here. And it flags certain levers, certain sliding scales of all these images fit the sci-fi scale as well as the futuristic render scale as well as the detailed. So all those bits were happy. And so these are just the labels that the machine knows, if that explanation makes sense. So using these terms, synthwave, hyper-realistic, or layered paper will all change the result. So pay attention to all these tags you have down here when you're using it. They will affect the outcome as well as the text you put in here. So for an example, let's do a crane shot of the Italian coast. And I don't want it to be art or layered paper. I want a photo. And then down here, again, more of these invisible levers. I want it to be golden hour. If I can click on it, there it is. And then we generate. And it creates 4 images. I see it has picked up on the word crane. So instead of like a overhead drone shot, it has decided to put a approximation of a crane along the Italian coast in golden hour. So you see it, the crane lever picked up on that, and the output decided it needs to be satisfied for the end product. So I also want to show some ways I've seen it used, and personally I've used it. So for a couple of the events that I've run myself, I've used these early icebreakers, how are you feeling today? All using Firefly here. So just these are all the golden hour, the Highland cow working on his computer, a field mouse sitting on a flower, reading, looking at his phone. So it's good for fun stuff like this. Other places I've seen it used is this is a professor I had for my master's degree. He's at Bloomsburg University. He has a blog that he hosts here on his LinkedIn, and he uses, I believe Midjourney is the one he uses to generate all of these banner photos. So something relatively relating to the content where he doesn't have to outsource that work. There is a tool there for him to use using all this stuff. And one last feature that I did want to show you, not to scare you too much, it is in Photoshop, but you very little, very beginner friendly. So same process, the same request that will get you Firefly will get you access to the entire Creative Suite, so Photoshop included. When you do open it up, it will come to a screen like this. I guess I should preface, this is like for creating banners for your courses, is what I'm trying to get at here. So create a new file. You choose the size of it over here and create. I have mine as 1080 pixels by 200. You select all, and then it has the generative fill. So this is the same Firefly engine, just within the skin of Photoshop here. So it uses all of the same language. So hyper-realistic, paper cutout, all of that stuff, if you type it into here. So let's go water, color, painting, landscape. See what that does. So not all the best. One thing I did want to point out here is this Firefly by itself has limited aspect ratios. I presume because it can only get good compositions within those aspect ratios. Whereas when you have something more ultra wide like this, it doesn't understand the landscape. But this does still give you variations. Over here on the right, you can select between them. So here's some I was testing earlier. This is a landscape background of Vienna with mountains in the background. So again, it doesn't necessarily have the right proportions because of this unique aspect ratio. This was a flask on a counter in a laboratory. This was the Rocky Mountains. This was a cityscape wide shot, hyper realistic. You can see here it's not all that realistic. It is quite painterly. It can do abstract. This was pop art, painting geometric. And one other flashy tool that I would like to show you, specifically with banners, is we'll go here. And I'm going to be using this image, which is one of our Hunter backgrounds. Just going to copy it and paste it into here. It's a little too big. So I'm going to resize it. And same process, you select where you want. So now I'm only going to select this white area, generate fill, and you don't put anything in there, and it will guess what you want based off of the rest of the layer you have selected. It will extend out, again, giving you extra options. So if you wanted to use this is probably the best truthful end of the building here, using this as a banner. So you export it, you up the file, export, export as. All this stuff is fine on default. Don't need to touch anything. Click export, and then you find the place you want to save it to as normal.